It is 8 o'clock, WTRE Greensburg. Let's go to the phone. We've got Congressman Greg Pence joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you and all your listeners. How are you today?
Good. Now, are you in Indiana? Or are you?
I am in D.C. We had votes out here last week and through Friday, and then again first thing this morning. So this would be the third time I've not come home on the weekend. I thought, well, it was such a short weekend, I'd have to fly home Saturday and come back last night, so I stayed.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen somewhere where you were staying put for a week or so, just taking care of business there.
Yeah,
So,
hopefully.
what's top on your business list as far as getting taken care of?
Yeah, I think this week, we had a number of appropriations bills last week. I voted no on those. There were parts of that prohibited dollars going to continue to build the wall, and then was sending some dollars to foreign countries and entities, organizations that would, also pay for abortions in other countries. So I couldn't go with that one. I voted no on the Futures Act because it had a no ban. In other words, it took the authority of the president. It took that authority away to ban certain countries from coming into this country, like years ago when Syria had a lot of bad actors and ISIS fighters were trying to get into the country, and he put a ban on all Syrians. So we got a handle on it. And then also in that same Futures Act, we were going to give every illegal immigrant that was detained at the border access to an attorney or counsel while they were appealing their right to come in. And I think the number was last year we had 11 million people that were detained and not allowed to come in here. So I guess in these tough times, economic times, I guess somehow Congress figured we could find enough money to pay for attorneys for illegal immigrants to the tune of $11 million. Now, having said that, and that last week wasn't real good. This week, hopefully, we start getting some things done. We have what is called the WRDA Act. It's Waters of the United States. I think we talked about that, Kathy, on one of the calls. That's where it was a very, very bipartisan bill that we actually got through committee. I offered amendments. We marked it up. It was unanimous coming out of the committee, and I think it will be an example of how Congress should work out here. And that has to do with the regulation and support of the Army Corps of Engineers to do studies about rivers and waterways and big bodies of water. And I think that one will be a good one. We have another, call it Appropriations 2 this week. We'll see where that goes. But the most important thing, and I've been rambling a little bit, sorry, is we're going to talk about a real second relief package to fight COVID. I'll call it the CARES 2 Act.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the elements of that.
Okay, yeah. I think, right now it is in the Senate. Hopefully it gets to the House of Representatives before the end of the week and I can vote on it. Hopefully it's more, it's as bipartisan as our first CARES Act was, because I'd like to be back in Indiana for our recess in August. But we're talking about additional stimulus money. I know the administration would like to give the $1,200 out just as it did last time to everyone making under $75,000. Senate has talked about bumping that down to 40,000 people that are making under $40,000. Something that's important to me is we need to find some relief loan or grant packages to these industries that we've talked about, Kathy, like the restaurant, travel, entertainment industries, so they can make it through this shutdown period. you and I both know, I saw some restaurants in Greensburg were shutting down and not opening back up, and it's been happening all over the district. If there's some way we can keep these what I call mom and pop restaurants, if we can help them survive here as we beat the virus, I'm for that. Not a bailout, but a helping hand, maybe an extension of PPP for them. And then probably the biggest one is something I've heard all across the district from employers is we can't be given the $600 in addition to unemployment to people that don't, well, I'll say refuse to come back when they're called back. Because employers all across the district have told me, I could increase my business. We could kind of get back to normal, but I've got people that won't come in because they're getting this extra $600 from the Fed. Now, that expires at the end of this week. I know there's some that would like to extend that. Some of the talk is that would be vastly reduced. Of course, the state pays unemployment to folks, and the governor in Indiana has extended that. But I'm talking about the federal supplement to that for those folks that can't find employment or haven't been called back. So, and lastly, I've been an advocate, and I actually talked to a person yesterday afternoon at great length. The state of Indiana has received quite a bit of CARES funding that we haven't, thank God, had to use yet, and I'd like to see some of that, the use of that be expanded. In other words, the eligibility of spending for those funds to be expanded to help out our rural hospitals, first responders, and maybe some of the industries that need a helping hand here in Indiana. So with that, again, I've kind of rambled on. Sorry about that.
So I know, let's talk about the school. I know our schools are set to go back next week. Talk a little bit about the return to schools and what you'd like to see.
Yeah, what I'd like to see is each school district make the right decision based on how things are going as far as COVID-19 is. But I would encourage every school district to do everything they can to protect the kids that are coming back, and then find a way for them to come back. What has been surprising to me, Kathy, is how many parents are saying to me, my child needs to go back to school. And then there's every reason my child is becoming withdrawn because they're not interacting with friends. My child is bored. I need to go to work. I can't find someone to take care of my child if schools are all telehealth. And so it goes on and on and on. And let me tell you one that I heard from my peers last week when I was sharing. You share stories about, well, what are you hearing back in the district? What are folks telling you? There are school districts where up to 25 to 30% of the kids never participated in the teleeducation since last March. So that means 25% of the kids didn't go to school. And so, we really have to find a way to, take care of the kids, get them into school safely, and for all those reasons I mentioned, it is a very serious issue on many, many levels. I know we're still fighting COVID. We've got the economic issue, but we've had the unrest. Thank God that's subsided in Indiana. But now we have this student issue that I hope, and I'm glad to hear that the schools in your city, in many of the cities across the 6th District, are going to open up, and hopefully we can get that done safely.
So the House Resolution 7573, removing statues from the Capitol, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm a federalist, and what I mean by that is, I don't want the federal government to come and tell us what we have to do all the time. I don't want them to tell them how to run our schools. I don't want them to tell us how to run the state of Indiana. I don't want them bailing out Illinois or Chicago. We there are statues in the Capitol building, and that bill was introduced to remove statues that where the states had submitted those to the Capitol. They had served in the Confederate Army, and the federal government was now going to tell those states, get these out of here. Or frankly, they said we were going to send them back to you. Now, not only do I want not want the federal government telling everybody what they have to do, we can have a dialogue about whether those statues should be here or not. But telling folks what statues you can or can't have is why I said, no, I'm voting against this. Whether you agree with a particular statue or not, I think it's the wrong path, because is the next bill that's going to come to the floor telling us that Columbus, Indiana has to change their name, or we have to take down Columbus statues? I don't want the federal government telling cities, counties, states what they can and can't do. Again, I'm a federalist, so I was opposed to that. I think it was another example of the far progressives in the House of Representatives wanting to make everything the same in this country. If everything big the same, we'd probably be like in the same bad shape as Chicago and Illinois.